Right, so now you're familiar with paragraph tags and line breaks, we're going to see if we can customize the look of our text a little bit more. As you might have guessed, we're going to use a range of tags to do that. So first off, we're going to look at how to make some text bold. And there are two ways that we can do that. The first that I'll show you is the B tag, which, as you might imagine, is short for bold. So if we just pop B and then /B around a certain letter or string of letters, then if we have a look at that, that will come out bold. Fantastic. Simple as that. The B tag is perfectly valid HTML, but generally it's encouraged to use the strong tag instead, which does exactly the same thing, but is a little bit easier to read. So strong just makes it clear in your HTML that you want this to be displayed strongly and clearly and boldly. So you're welcome to use B or strong, and you will see both of those when you're looking at the code of other sites. I'd recommend using strong if you've got the choice. Next, we'll look at italic text. And similarly, we've got two tags that we can use. The first one, just like the bold tag, is I. So there is some italic text. Let's have a look. There it is. So nice and italic. And the second one, so instead of strong, we've got EM, which is short for emphasis. There we go. And again, it looks exactly the same, but it's generally considered better form to use EM, which is slightly clearer than I in terms of its meaning. But you will see both when you're looking at the code of existing websites, and you can use either in HTML5. Next, we'll look at underlining some text. So we'll get rid of our line break, and we'll look at some underlined text. As you might guess, we can use the U tag to underline text. Let's have a little look at that. So we've got underlined text like that. Now the U tag has an interesting history and was actually removed from HTML in version 4.01, but then brought back in version 5. So you can use it. It is valid HTML, but it's generally preferred that we use ints, which is short for inserted, to imply that our underlined text has been inserted into our paragraph. Now, once again, you can use U and you'll see it everywhere, but ints is inserted, and that's what's generally preferred. Okay, just a couple more. We'll have some superscript. So just the same. So superscript means high up in the air, and we use the sup, short obviously for superscript, tag to do that. Okay, quick challenge for you. Can you work out how to do some subscript text? Go for it. I hope you managed to guess that one. It's just exactly the same, but sub instead of sup. So subscript is slightly below the line, and there it is. All right, the last one I'm going to show you is some struck out text, and we're going to do that using the del tag, short for deleted. There we go. So now we have some crossed out text there. This used to be strike in HTML4, but that has actually been deprecated in HTML5, and we now use the del tag. But you may see strike used in websites that you're looking at. Last, I'm going to show you a completely separate tag, which I'm quite keen on, which is the horizontal rule. So again, it's a self-closing tag. It doesn't have a closing element, but it just draws a nice horizontal line. So it's good for adding sections to a page. If we put it in here, for example, we might want to separate the first three from the last three, and that's a very nice way to do it. So again, self-closing in HTML5, you don't need the closing element. If for some reason you're doing XHTML, then you would put the closing bit in like that, and you might well see it like that in some websites, but for HTML5, you should just have the HR. If you want to find a few more different stylings that you can do with HTML, then just go to Google, and very quickly you can get this with HTML formatting, and just click on the top result, which will take you to a website called W3 Schools, which has got a lot of information on basic HTML tags. And down here they've got a bunch of formatting elements, so we've seen quite a few of those, but there's a few even that we haven't seen. further down. So we've got small, marked, which is highlighted there, inserted, which we saw, subscript and superscript, etc. So if you want to look more into HTML formatting, you can. But we're actually going to move on and look at lists in HTML.